Hi guys, welcome to another Elementor video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignerdetectives.com. We've got a great fun one for you today, and a really impressive little thing to have on your site. We've got our full width hero type section with some text in it. When you hover over it, the background image is going to zoom in and grow a little bit. Really nice little feature. We've done this recently with a Divi theme. We had to do a bit of coding for that. No coding involved in this today at all. Really easy to do. So let me take you through it. So here we are on the site. We've got this cool full width image here with a little call to action button in it. When I hover over, that background image is going to zoom in like that. And of course we can go down to our call to action, read the title and things like that, do what we need to do. And that's a really nice little effect to have on your site. There's no coding involved in this today, as we mentioned earlier. So I'll show you exactly how to do it. I've got this page open with Elementor already. Let's delete this section and we'll start from scratch. This is another in our series of Elementor for Beginners video, and you can find that playlist just down below this video. Okay, well I'm going to add a new section. I'm going to hit the little plus here on the pink tab. Inside my section, I'm going to add a little call to action widget. So if we scroll down a little bit, here we go. It's right here. I'm going to drop it in there. As you can see, it puts an image placeholder in, and we've already got a little zoom effect in there, which is great. You've got a heading, you've got some text, and you've got a call to action button. So starting at the top, let's put our image in. I guess I'll use the same image as I used before. As I mentioned, it zooms in when you hover over it. Content down below. Obviously put what you want yours to say there. I'm going to leave mine just as it is. And anything you want there in the description. Down below that we've got the button, whatever you want your button to say. And of course, the important thing, a link for your button in there, because you're going to want to take people somewhere with your link. If you're linking to your own site, leave it exactly as it is. If you're linking off-site, best bet to open it in a new window. That way your site will stay open. If you want to, you can add a ribbon to the side of the image here. Put what you want to say. As you can see, that's popped that in there with sale. And you can choose the color and things over in style. I don't particularly want that today, so I'm going to delete that text so that goes away. Great. Well, over in the style, we can adjust the height of the actual box itself, which is the stuff with the content and the button in it, by making that up and down. Of course, you can align your text left, middle, right if you want to. And vertical position, I like to have it in the middle. If you want to, you can have it at the top or the bottom. And you can add extra padding to this little box area here if you need to. Down below that, we've got the same thing for the image. You've got a width and a height slider. I might make that a little bit deeper so we can see a little bit more of that image there. Down below that, we've got another content box where you can choose the color of your typography and the actual background itself. So let's make this perhaps a darker background like I did before. And of course, adjust to taste. Get it to whatever color you want. And then the typography, you can set the font and the weight and everything up here. And down below in the colors, you can set your title colors. Description, I'll make the same one. And if you want to, you can have a separate color on hover for those. I'm going to leave them just like they are. Button color though, I'm going to do separately down below here in button. I'm going to make my text color white. Again, make my background color whatever color you want. Let's try a blue perhaps. I think that's what I used before. Then on hover, let's have it a different color. Let's have it red perhaps on hover. That's great. We've got a little border around there. I'm not going to have a border on mine. So border width, if you don't want a border, put in a 0. If you do, you can change colors on borders and things on hover if you want to. That works fine for me. If you want it to have more rounded sort of pill shape, you can give it a higher pixel value in the border radius there, like 50. You've got a pill shape button. I was happy with the way it was, with those slightly rounded corners which it puts in by default. If you want more rounded, you can put in a lower value. You'll just have slightly rounded corners. The lower the value, the less the curve, as you can see there. That looks pretty much like the default. If you want to add box shadow, you can. It's not going to work for me on my dark background today. If you want to make that button taller or wider, you can do so with padding right here. If you uncheck the chain, you can have separate values for top, bottom, right and left. So for instance, twice the amount left and right. And have a larger button like that. Great, and they've got various hover effects here. Now, one of the great features about Elementor Pro is it has some wonderful zoom effects and all kind of different effects built in, which saves a huge amount of time with coding. I personally don't mind coding, so it doesn't bother me. But for people that are not familiar with coding, sometimes it can be a bit of a pain. And you've got all kind of features built into this to let you do it with sliders and just putting in a few values. And if you don't have the Elementor Pro, look down below. There's a link down there where you can check it out. Let's get back to the build. At the moment, we've got that zoom in, which I really like. Like I say, yesterday we showed you how to do that with a regular image using a bit of CSS. No coding involved into this today. They've got the zoom out where it'll start off bigger and go smaller. Move left or move right. Move up, move down. All fairly self-explanatory. But again, they're nice little effects that will get people's attention. I'm quite happy with the zoom in. Now there is a little overlay that will darken it down a little bit. I'm going to leave that on today, that way, because I'm actually going to pop this on top of our image and it'll make it a little bit easier to read. And if you want to, they've got CSS filters. You can blur, make it brighter, change the contrast, saturation and hue if you want to, on both normal and hover state. Again, I'm pretty happy with the way that is. I mean, that on its own is quite nice. It's a nice little call to action. We've got a nice little button, zoom effect on the image itself. If I wasn't going to shoot this up, I'd probably take off the overlay color there by just clicking on it and bringing the opacity all the way down. But I'm going to flip this on top of this and we're going to make a full width hero type section out of it. And to do that, just need to go back to our content. You may have noticed this when we were in there just now. In the skin, I'm going to flip it from classic to cover. And it's flipped that text and button up on top of our image there. We still got that nice background zoom effect. Great. Well, I don't want any gaps on this when I make it full width. And by default, the columns have got a bit of padding there, top, bottom, left and right. So if we go into the column, which is the gray module right here on the left, over to advanced is always where you'll find padding and margin. I'm going to put a 0 in there. And that will take that all away. Now we need to make all of this full width. To do that, it couldn't be easier. If we just go into the section itself, little pink tab with little dots at the top there. In the layout, right at the top, we've got content width. I'm going to change it from boxed to full width. And we've got a full width section there. Perfect. Now it's a little skinny for me. I'd like to see that a little bit deeper. But of course, that's entirely up to you. And again, it couldn't be easier. If we go back into the actual call to action module itself, little pink tab with a pencil at the bottom here. We'll go over to style. We've got a height box here. And by default, it's set to pixels. Let's change it to vertical height, which will be a percentage of the screen, and take it up to maybe 40%, something like that. As you can see, as I'm bringing it up, it's getting bigger. Well, yeah, so you can go to 50%, half the screen height there. And whatever screen you're looking at, it's going to be 50% of the screen. And because we've aligned the content vertical position middle, it's going to stay in the middle there. That is a really nice little effect there. So let's update, make sure this is going to work on the front end. Go hit the little eyeball. And here we have it. We've got a full width hero section with the image zoom on hover, the background image. It's darkening down a little bit. We've got a huge call to action button there that's going to change color. And we've got minimal text up there Of course, I would have probably put in a little bit more if this was a real hero section. But that's a really nice effect and really easy to do, as you can see. Fantastic. Just what the doctor ordered. Well, there you have it. There's how to create a nice little hero section with a zoom effect with a background image, call to action button. Wonderful thing to have on your website. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's always great to hear from you. If you're interested in learning more about Elementor, check out our Elementor for Beginners playlist. It should appear over here any minute now. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.